Well, good afternoon, St.Clair Power Plant. I'm Brian Rice. I'm the director of the North Area Coal Plants and our Central Service Groups. I'd like to first welcome the St.Clair employees and the retirees here today are here to celebrate with us. We want to celebrate what this plant's meant to our employees, to our customers, to our company, to the community for the past 70 years. I also want to welcome today our President and CEO, Jerry Norcia, President of DTE Electric, Trevor Lauer, our Senior Vice President of Energy Supply, Ben Felton, the Local 223 Chairman of the E-Board for FosGen Group, Jay Miller, and the County Chairman, Jeff Baum, who are here to help us mark this historical occasion. Thank you all for being here. After the past 2 years of having a social distance, we're very fortunate that we can all get together today as we mark this significant point in time. And importantly, thank you, the employees, both past and present, for your contributions to the success of the company through the years. Thank you all for being here. And I want to call out a special kudos to the plant manager. Leanne Warner's in the group today here in the front row. And you know, Leanne is really the typical St. Clair employee, right? She started working for FosGen back in the 1980s as a power plant operator, learned to run power plants, worked in operations, worked in maintenance, worked in the technical group, spent most of her career right here at St. Clair. And the last 10 years, she's been the plant manager. And Ben and I have talked about this several times. We can't think of a better person to help us end with pride the career at St. Clair Power Plant. She loves the plant. She loves the history. She loves the people that work here. She knows all of them by name. She knows all of their kids. So thank you, Leanne. We really appreciate your leadership up here at St. Clair. I'm going to hand this over to Jerry, but before Jerry comes up, let's take a few minutes and go down memory lane and have a look at a quick video here.
When I started as a plant cleaner and walked into this building, I was amazed. I looked around at the conduit, the piping, and I just, how could you build something like this?
I thought that this place was overwhelming. It's so big.
First thought went through my head is, man, this place is big.
Everything was so big. I had just gotten out of operator school, and it's like, oh my gosh, everything's huge. It's a lot bigger than the little boxes on the pages. I'd never been in a power plant before.
And coming into the plant, I was just blown away at the size of all the equipment that I'd looked at in photos and booklets that were no bigger than an inch tall.
At one time, I think this was the largest power plant in the world.
The turbine deck's a quarter mile to get from one end to the other.
What's unique about our fuel supply department is we supply coal to 2 different power plants, St. Clair Power Plant and Bell River Power Plant. And I was told that at one time we had one of the largest conveyor systems in the nation.
I think it's simple to say that at St. Clair Power Plant, it's unique because we still have running at this time 4 different types of boilers, if not a minimum of 3, and then each one having a different turbine. But it's the variety of equipment here, and that made for a huge learning curve.
You can work here for 100 years and still not learn everything that you need to learn.
And we walked out through the gate together that night, and he said, so what do you think of your first day here on shift? And I said, there's just so much to learn. It's going to take me a long time. And he said to me at that point in time, he goes, you'll bid out before you ever learn it all anyway. And he was so right. After 38 years, I am still learning a lot about the plant.
My grandfather worked here as a power plant operator. My dad worked here as a maintenance general foreman. And now I got the opportunity to work here as well. So it was a generational type of plant that really served the community.
Part of our importance to national infrastructure is probably the most important thing. I know where we stand on our responsibility to the American public.
So over the years, we've faced some adversity. 2003, we had the blackout. All the units went dead. That was kind of a new experience, walking in and hearing zero sound in this power plant. 2016, we had a major fire here. And in both instances, the plant pulled together, did what needed to be done, and survived.
It was quite a large fire. We evacuated the plant, had many different fire departments come and respond to that.
I happened to be here the night that 7 turbine caught the roof on fire. And it was a terrible night, but also a great night in response from all our employees here at the plant, seeing everybody unify, be ready to take action, taking action as necessary, and working with the local fire jurisdictions. Believe me, it was impressive.
Everybody from top to bottom, all hands on deck. When the fire took place, there were people who were on vacation, who were not on shift, calling in, asking, what can I do, wanting to show up at the site. That type of attitude and trusting the people you work with and just the care they have for this facility makes it a home.
Everybody's a family. The shifts do things together, out of work, inside work.
It's really a family, everything that comes with a family. We work together to achieve great success, overcoming hurdles and challenges. As a team, with a teamwork, people will always come together, tech group, maintenance, operations, managers, that just come together to achieve our common goals.
I've had a lot of great people over the years that I've worked with here at the plant. Been very fortunate with the teams that I've been, with, and the people that I've gotten to work with, both in operations. When I hired in, I was very fortunate. In the stores division, great people that I work with that are still here on site, still working in those roles. Those relationships have been really important, and they still are really valuable to me today.
St. Clair's got a very unique culture among the plants. They have a can-do attitude. Doesn't matter what you throw in front of them, it always gets done somehow, some way. It doesn't matter how big the task, St. Clair always gets it done.
You have different people from different backgrounds, different upbringings, and we all have like a same common goal when we come here to work.
They become like your second family. You see them as much as you do your own family sometimes, and so the camaraderie is there,
Some of my fondest memories here would be, I know this sounds weird, but like there's many times that we've had to work Christmas or New Year's, and the guys on shift, they try to make it the best they can with what you have. You know what I'm saying? And to me, like, I know that sounds weird, but like we all kind of suffered together, but like we made the best of it.
It feels like family because you spend so much time with these people. We're 12-hour swing shift workers. It's sometimes at home you can't get away from your family, and sometimes at the plant you can't get away from them. So I do consider them all family.
I can't emphasize how important those relationships have been and are right now as we continue down this path of closing this plant. People are doing everything that they can to do the right thing safely and work as a team. Been very fortunate with those relationships.
I feel proud for this job because the stability it has been for so many years. I was very blessed at a young age to come here, and haven't had to worry about unemployment or looking for a job, and the stability here has been 21 years.
This place has provided me a good living for a long time. I had a large family. I had 7 children, and I was able to provide for all of them because of the opportunity to work for DTE and at St. Clair Power Plant.
Since we're down in resources, we're trying to ensure everybody has a place to land and a place to go when they're done at St. Clair, is that we pool together. People are helping each other out. They're doing things they might not normally do. We're blurring some of those lines of demarcation just to help each other and get by until we retire.
As with all the time I've been with this company, proud of what I've done here. Very proud and happy to get out safely and get out safely with the rest of my brothers and sisters here.
St. Clair has always been home to me for the last 20 years. I've had a lot of family work here, a lot of friends work here. It's provided for this community for a long time, from the tax-based structure to everything else. It'll be a sad day for me when this plant actually closes and stops producing megawatts.
There's a tight-knit group here, and that, sometimes you see them more than you do your own family. So walking away from here will be pretty sad.
This is my home. This is where I grew up. It's my family, and it's my home. And I want to see it through. And I want to make sure everybody has a landing place and that they have everything they need to be successful for the rest of their careers.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome. That was quite a video, and really the reason we're here today is to celebrate you and all that you've accomplished and all that you've done since 1950. I don't know if there's anybody here from the 1950s, but if you are, raise your hand. We'd love to celebrate you. There we are. Stand up, sir. Yeah. But this really is about a celebration of all of you, people that work here today, people that worked here since the 1950s. There's a great history here. And if you listen to the video, what was it all about? It was about people. It was about the team. It was about this team spirit. It was about being like a family. A lot of emotion in that. And I can see that some of the people, I was watching people in the audience, I could see the emotion in their faces as they remembered and held their memories dear of the time that they worked here or the time that they are working here. So I want to thank you for what you've done for DTE, for this community. I also want to thank Jeff and the community for hosting us here for so many years. And I've told Jeff that we're going to be here for a long time to come. And he reminded me that it started in this county in 1914 with the Marysville power plant. So we've had a long, rich history here in this county, and it will continue for a long time. You can see we made a big investment across the street, and I expect that there'll be more in the future as well. So again, I learned from a boss a long time ago. Some of you may remember him, Steve Ewing. He said assets are an inanimate object, and the only thing that makes them move and do something is people. So in the end, again, I want to thank you for all you've done for DTE, for its customers, and what you've done for each other. You've created some really special memories here for one another. And I hope that you cherish those. And with that, I'm going to really turn it over to Trevor, who's the president of our electric company, and have him make a few remarks. So thank you.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and what a beautiful day. And I can't say enough positive things about the opportunity to spend time with everybody today as we were walking around. Jerry mentioned family a couple times, and I heard it 5 or 10 times from the people I talked to today. It's a little bittersweet when you retire an asset like this. I love what Ben has coined, retire with pride, and that's what we're trying to do to make sure we go out with pride at a facility like this. The first time I stepped foot at St. Clair Power Plant was in 2005, and Steve Booker was the plant manager. And I remember very distinctly coming up and having a discussion with Steve, and he talked about 3 things. I might paraphrase what he said, but here's what I heard, right? First thing he talked about was safety. We spent a lot of time talking about how important it was to make sure that we took care of each other, and we made sure that safety was the #1 thing we did at the power plant to make sure nobody got injured. We've come a long way inside our energy supply organization with our safety practices and keeping people safe, but it was a #1 thing that he talked about. The second thing he talked about was operating the plant really well, because we were already under pressure to get out of the coal business back then. And Steve's focus was on making sure that we operated this plant as best as we could to extend the life as long as we could possibly extend it. And as he was talking about it, what I heard him also talking about was continuous improvement. And what was really amazing to me is, as Leanne then took over in 2012 as plant manager, Leanne continued the exact same thing that Steve had in place as a plant manager. So we've been blessed. My time here, we've been blessed to have two outstanding plant managers. I think the other thing to me that's amazing about the St. Clair Power Plant is the level of volunteering we do. And I won't go through each of the things that our plant employees do around volunteering, but I will say this. Last year, 97% of our employees here volunteered in one way or another, either through mentoring, helping communities, but the connection we've had with the communities and how much our employees care about being part of the community that we live and serve in is another just amazing thing when you think about the employees that have been at St. Clair Power, actually all of our power plants. I don't want to isolate it just to St. Clair. Heck, I remember walking with Brian on Puttigat Road 2 or 3 times picking up trash as part of one of our volunteering activities, just to make sure that we kept the area nice. Jerry mentioned the relationship we've had with St. Clair County. Jeff and I had the opportunity to talk about this not too long ago, but relationships like this happen because employees reach out and they're part of the communities that host us. And that's what's been so terrific with St. Clair County, and it's what's so great with our Blue Water Energy Center that we're going to be opening next door. We're going to continue that long relationship we've had with St. Clair Power Plant, or with St. Clair County. So let me just end on this. I want to make sure that I call out all of the employees that have retired, have worked here before, and are working here now. We can't thank you enough for the dedication and the time that you've given to looking out after each other, looking out after our company, and looking out after our community that we get to live and work in. You guys are terrific. I can't thank you enough for showing up today. And with that, I think I turn it over to Jeff. Thank you.
I was asked today to talk about what DT has meant to St. Clair County. I got a chance to speak at the groundbreaking for the Blue Water Energy Center, and Jerry touched on it. The mighty Marysville, 1914. World War I started in July of 1914. That's how long DT's been a part of this community. The St. Clair plant, as you're well aware of, 1953, the Unit 1 came on. Think about the Greenwood plant, construction began in 72. Bell River Power Plant, construction began in 81. And when I think back of those times, if you think about 1980, that time, last person, leave Michigan, turn out the lights, economy was really, really bad back then. And DT was able to provide a lot of construction jobs for a lot of people and keep them in this area. It's fed a lot of families for a lot of years. Tax base. I don't even like to bring this up because Trevor will want an abatement, but we'll talk about that later. DTE represents 12% of the entire SCV in St. Clair County. 12%. I can't even begin to tell you how big that is. Obviously, jobs, been employed for over 100 years. A lot of people, I actually know quite a few people in a room. Ray Britt's, good friend of mine. Obviously, they didn't do a background check on Ray, but another story for another day. On a larger scale, 2021, they started this program in 2010. 2021, DT spent $2.2 billion with Michigan-based companies. Since 2010, they've spent nearly $16 billion creating and sustaining 54,000 jobs in the state of Michigan. With that, I would like to give you guys a round of applause for that. Lastly, I'd like to thank the people that I generally deal with at my level, our government affairs folks. We started this journey with Ron Chris. Ron's still in the company, he moved on, and then Stephanie Beers. Worked very closely with these guys, and I can't thank you enough, Stephanie, for everything that you do. So on behalf of St. Clair County, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today, and Jerry and Trevor would like me to announce to all the retirees, you're going to see a 25% increase in your pension benefits starting next month, so let's hear it, guys. Woo-woo! Well, I think they're giving me the hook. On that note, thanks again.
Wow, what a crowd. This is absolutely amazing. I'm Ben Felton, and hello, everybody. I just want to congratulate you for being here today. This is absolutely awesome. As I've been listening to everyone talk, what's coming through loud and clear is how much of a family St. Clair has been. And that, in my mind, comes from a real caring and respect for one another. I know that the past couple of years leading up to the retirement have been challenging, but you all have always come through, time and time again. No matter what's thrown at you, you just continue to come through, and you're finishing strong, and most importantly, you've been able to do it safely. As the plant retires, you've achieved a record by operating in the last 2 years without a serious injury. 946 days to be exact. Give yourselves a round of applause for that. That's a credit to an active safety committee, a culture that puts safety at the forefront of everything that you do. And that means that each employee has been able to go home to their families the same way that they came to work, healthy and safe each and every day. And that is truly something to be celebrated. So congratulations to each and every one of you. In the few short years that I've been with DTE, I've come to know and appreciate this team's high level of pride. You've given hyper-focused attention to safety, finishing strong, and have adjusted through many challenges that have come your way. Early on, I made a commitment that I would work on behalf of our plant employees to assure that the work in these plants was honored and appreciated as we continue to transition our fleet and retire more units, and retire them with pride, which stands for people, respect, integrity, dignity, and engagement. You have every reason to be proud of yourselves and what you've achieved here. I know I am certainly proud of you, and I know that you will continue with the same passion and commitment as you move on to your next assignments in the company. I want to thank you for servicing our customers with safety, care, dependability, and efficiency every day. And before I turn it over to Jay, I want to share a personal story with you all and just my experience with St. Clair. I've spent, somewhere in the mid-90s fishing the St. Clair River in awe of this plant. Really never knew what happened inside, but just always wondered, wow, this was a massive facility, and I heard that a lot in the videos. For one, I didn't even know there was another power plant behind this. From the river, this was it. Never in a million years did I think I would work here. Never in a million years did I think I would be part of this family. So I want to, Leanne, you and your team, you've embraced me since day one. I've shared those stories here. The town halls that I've come to. This team has made me feel like a part of this family. And that's where Retire with Pride was born. It's just to make sure that everybody understood that despite the transition, the work that you do to deliver for our customers is so important and is such a point of pride that everyone needs to take appreciation for. So I want to thank you for that, and then I'd like to turn it over to our local chair of 223, Jay Miller.
I'd like to thank everybody for being here today and the opportunity to speak on behalf of Local 223. It's an honor. Thanks to senior staff for the invite. Our local president would have loved to have been here, but her schedule didn't allow it. I apologize if this is redundant, but family seems to be the word here. And that, is kind of how, when I was writing and how I would speak to you guys, what I would say. If there's one word that I could say and think about St. Clair Power Plant, it's family, because that's the culture you built here. You guys treat each other as family, the community as family, and even us pain in the neck union reps when we show up. We're family. We are, really, truly, so thank you, staff, for that. You guys have always made us feel welcome. The union would like to thank all the men and women that are currently working, the ones that have retired, and the ones that have passed for their service and dedication to St. Clair Power Plant and this facility. I want to share a couple stories with you guys on a couple union reps that meant a lot to me, and they passed on, but just how they felt about St. Clair Power Plant. The first one I'll share with you was George Stockwell. George Stockwell, he was a power plant operator. I took office with him, B&G officer. We used to always joke around a lot, and we'd kid each other, because you know the camaraderie about North and South. It's always been there. You know, George, we ate lunch at Dearborn Senate, and after we got through eating, you know, he was joking. He's like, yeah, you know, Monroe, they got a lot of people. They might be mighty, but he said, I'll tell you one thing, brother. St. Clair Power Plant, when you work there, you're family. You're always going to be family. Whether you leave there or not, you're a family. And that's what we've heard here today. We're family. And, you know, you guys have always treated everybody like that and each other, you know. So, you know, that's just, you know, something he shared with me, and that's how he really felt. Another one is Marty Van Buskert. Marty was a millwright. He was a steward, a maintenance steward, and he was also the turbine committee person. And, you know, Marty said that he always felt at home at St. Clair Power Plant more than anywhere. And I asked him, I said, well, why, you know, St. Clair Power Plant more than anywhere? He said, look, brother, you just have to work there to understand. He said, it's just different. When you work there, you're family. They treat you like family. He goes, it's just different. He said, if you don't work, you just don't understand it. Well, I do understand a little bit, yet, you know, the culture here definitely, you guys definitely are a family. In the short period of time that I'm given here, I can't begin to, you know, touch base on everything that the men and women of St. Clair Power Plant have meant to the union and to the company. But, you know, I'm just gonna set up, you know, I'm just gonna try to touch base on a few of them. The first one is the foundation that you guys have laid around safety and safe work procedures are the principles that are used in power plants up and down the river. So I want to thank you personally for that, because some of the procedures and documents have been written out of this facility are some of the best, and, you know, second to none. I'd also want to recognize St. Clair Power Plant has always been the leader and are at top of the board of all the metrics that could be measured or tracked. They've always been a top. Gallup, whether it be reliability, everything, they've always strived to be the best. I was going to bring up around, if anybody knew what 9/26/2019 was. Yep. So, you know, it's remarkable. Ben brought that up. That's 31 months. 31 months with all the working hours and all the man hours at this power plant. And that's because of the foundation of the retirees that are here today. The people are currently working, and that's because of you guys, your dedication, and the culture you created, because you care, you do things right, you don't cut corners. Also, I want to mention the fire that we had here. You know, it's not by accident or luck that we got through an incident like that with no injury. That's because not only do you guys write great procedures and follow and do safe work, you know, you guys work safely. You don't cut corners. We don't take chances. And that's why we got through 2016, August 11th, without an injury. And that's because the leadership here of Leanne and the leadership of, you know, everybody that we've had in management. You know, it's known that, you know, we follow procedures. So I just got a couple other things I want to say, and then I'll turn it back over. If it weren't for the laws and regulations, I'm sure the St. Clair Power Plant may have outlasted all the power plants in the fleet. And I say that because of family. The men and women here would have figured out a way to get it done cheaper and safer and keep the mighty St. Clair Power Plant here like they have since 1953. So on behalf of Local 223, thank you very much.
So as we get ready to close this out, I just want to say thank you once again. People have been working here since the 1950s, talked before about since the 1920s. You know, we are moving on, right? Progress progresses, and we will move on to cleaner forms of energy. But I want to make sure that every single one of you folks out here knows that this plant, the people that worked at this plant, it's on your shoulders that life is, people have started to live longer. The average lifespan's now in the late 70s. Without the product that you guys provided, people would be dying in their 50s. Without the product that you guys provided, factories wouldn't be operating in the city of Detroit. It'd be a very different area that we'd be living in right now. You guys can be proud. You guys can be stand up tall and know that what you've done on your shoulders, this area has turned into a thriving economy that your children and their children are going to be able to live and have a great life in. Thank you very much. Be proud of yourselves and enjoy each other's company, which is why you really came here today, was to see each other, all the talk about family. Thank you very much.